And now for our next news special report.
Welcome to the front line of a media revolution. And tonight we're diving deep into a story that's shaking the foundations of the news world. Imagine a battleground where the old guard of media, armed with decades of dominance, faces an unprecedented challenge from a new contender, Elon Musk's platform X. The stakes? Well, the future of news as we know it. As viewers turn their backs on biased traditional outlets, they're flocking to X for raw, unfiltered truth. But this isn't just a shift in preferences, it's a war over information control. The legacy media, rattled and declining, is lashing out using every trick in the book to silence their new rival. But why? What are they so afraid of? So stay with us as we unravel this high-stakes drama, expose the underhanded tactics, and reveal why this battle is crucial for every American. You don't want to miss my final thought on this. It's a game changer. Before we dive into our explosive report, we do need to talk about gold. Just like X platform is disrupting the media landscape, gold is disrupting the financial world. Wars, rate cuts, and a soaring national debt are propelling gold's prices to new heights, much like X viewership numbers. Remember when gold leaped from $158 in 1974 to $850 in 1980? Now it's over $2,000 an ounce. It's a clear sign, just like the legacy media's panic over X, that major changes are happening. Secure your future with the Patriot Gold Group. Call the number on the screen, 888-857-9437, and mention Next News for top-class service. Your IRA could be in physical gold with no fees for life. Call now for your free investor guide. And as we peer into the heart of today's media landscape, it's impossible to ignore the seismic shifts occurring right before our eyes. The emergence of Elon Musk's platform X marks a pivotal moment in the history of news dissemination. Once dominated by legacy media, the giants of print and cable news, the battleground is now starkly redefined. These traditional powerhouses, having enjoyed unchallenged supremacy for decades, are now witnessing a dramatic erosion of their influence. And the catalyst? The rise of independent platforms like X, championed by visionaries like Musk. And the figures speak volumes. Last year, while legacy media saw a precipitous drop in viewership, a staggering 20 to 30%, X experienced an equivalent surge. This isn't just a fluctuation, it's a tectonic shift in public trust and interest. People are voting with their attention, turning away from the biased narratives and restrictive frameworks of old media. In their quest for unvarnished truth and real-time reporting, they're gravitating towards X. But this isn't a transition that the legacy media is taking lying down. Faced with dwindling viewership and a threat to their long-standing hegemony, they have embarked on a campaign to discredit and dismantle this emerging rival. Musk, known for his candidness and disruptive innovations, has been the focal point of their attacks. He's a man who's reshaped industries from automotive with Tesla to space with SpaceX, and now he's turning his gaze to the world of media. In a recent appearance at the European Jewish Association, Musk shined light on this unfolding drama. With his typical directness, he laid bare the motivations behind the legacy media's crusade against X. Watch.
Well, I mean, the reality is that X is competition for the legacy media. So, X is where people go to get the most current news and learn about the world. So, the legacy media is our direct competitors. So they're really going to find every angle to try to cancel X. I mean, if you want to know why things are happening, look at the incentives. So, and legacy media has had a tough time with respect to usage. The numbers I saw was that the sort of traditional print cable television viewership went down something like 20-30% last year. On the other hand, X went up roughly the same, roughly 20-30%. So it's a direct competition for people's attention. So if there's some attack they can levy against me, they will. I mean, if you say like for newspapers in America, there are about 5 editors that decide what gets put on the front page, or what to focus on or what not to focus on, and most of the other papers just copy them essentially. So. But is that really what we want? Do we want just a handful of people deciding what they think is important, or should it be that the people decide what's important? And I think it should be sort of an organic thing where the people decide what's important and what to focus on, not just a handful of editors. Yeah, they don't like the fact that this power has been taken away from them, but I think it should be.
Musk's explanation reveals much more than mere corporate rivalry. It exposes a deep-seated fear within traditional media circles. They're not just fighting a competitor, they're battling for relevance in an age that is rapidly leaving them behind. So why this fear? Well, because X represents something far more significant than a new player in the news arena. It symbolizes the democratization of information, a shift from a controlled top-down dissemination of news to a more open, participatory form of journalism. Musk's platform empowers the individual, offering a place where news is not only consumed, but also contributed and debated. This is in stark contrast to legacy media's model, where information is often packaged within a narrow viewpoint, leaving little room for alternative perspectives. Now, this transition to platforms like X is more than a technological evolution, it's a cultural revolution. For decades, legacy media has set the narrative, deciding what's newsworthy and how stories should be told. But as people increasingly seek out diverse viewpoints and real-time updates, these traditional gatekeepers of information are finding their influence waning. Legacy media's response to the challenge has been telling. Instead of adapting and innovating, they've resorted to underhanded tactics to maintain control. Musk's statements at the European Jewish Association highlight a deliberate strategy to cancel X. This involves not just criticizing the platform, but actively seeking ways to undermine it. The aim is clear: to discredit X and, by extension, Musk, thereby safeguarding their own declining domination over public discourse. However, the irony of the situation cannot be overstated. In their desperation to retain control, legacy media outlets are inadvertently highlighting the very reasons for their downfall: a lack of adaptability, openness, and most crucially, a disconnect with the evolving demands of their audience. People want more than just news. They want a platform where they can engage, discuss, and even challenge the narratives being presented. And X offers this dynamic environment, and that's why it is winning. And Musk's push for independent media doesn't stop at providing an alternative news platform. He's also advocating for a more direct and unfiltered communication channel between leaders and the public. In a bold move, he urged world leaders to publish their positions and updates on X, bypassing the traditional media filters. Watch.
I do post a lot on the X platform. Sometimes 100 times a day. So, once in a while I'll do something dumb, for sure. But I really, I try to say things that I think are interesting or funny. There must be some reason why 169 million people follow me. I guess. I don't know. I must be keeping them amused in some way. So amuse, entertain, have opinions on something. Sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. And for things like community notes, it applies to me as well as it applies to anyone else. So if I say something that's incorrect or, not full context, then community notes will correct me very quickly. So, but it's only me doing these posts ever. I don't have a team or anything. In fact, I generally would recommend for leaders of the world to just literally post your own stuff. And once in a while you make a mistake, don't worry about it.
This recommendation made to the European Jewish Association signifies a profound shift in how global communication could be conducted in the future. Musk himself leads by example. He doesn't rely on his team to manage his social media presence. Instead, he interacts directly with his audience, posting content on X without assistance. And his approach, while perhaps unconventional to some, is refreshingly authentic. He encourages leaders to embrace this directness, even if it means making occasional mistakes. Now, this stance challenges the polished, often sanitized communication strategies employed by many in positions of power and influence. The legacy media struggle against platforms like X isn't just about viewership numbers or market share. It's a fundamental battle over who controls information. As Musk rightly points out, the incentives are clear. Legacy media is fighting to maintain its role as the primary source of news, fearing that platforms like X will render them obsolete. But why does this matter to us, the public? Well, it signifies a pivotal moment in our understanding and consumption of news. The rise of platforms like X is not just a challenge to the legacy media, it's an opportunity for us to access a broader spectrum of information. It empowers us to be not just passive consumers of news, but active participants in the shaping of narratives. The shift is not without its challenges. The legacy media, with its vast resources and established networks, won't give up without a fight. But as we've seen time and time again, innovation and truth have a way of triumphing over attempts to suppress them. As we move forward in the digital age, it's crucial to recognize the significance of what's happening. The emergence of platforms like X marks a new chapter in the story of media, one where the power to shape narratives and inform the public is no longer monopolized by a few. It's a chapter where the truth has a fighting chance. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe and stay tuned now for my final thought. As we close tonight's report, let's applaud Elon Musk for his audacious move in acquiring Twitter, now X, and rekindling the flame of free speech. Musk's commitment to open discourse is not just commendable, it's essential in a republic like ours where free speech is the heartbeat of truth. The legacy media, now in evident panic mode, fears losing control of the narrative. But in our republic, it's not about controlling the narrative. It's about embracing the diverse voices that make up our great nation. Remember, the truth doesn't fear investigation. And that's why you, our viewers, need to follow Next News Network on Musk's X platform. We're at the forefront of truth and journalism, committed to bringing you the unfiltered stories that matter. In a time when the media landscape is rapidly changing, it's more important than ever to stay informed with sources that value truth above all. So join us on X and let's continue this journey of enlightenment together.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.